Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Trust all is well. We got some rain last night. We've had a drought, national emergency declared earlier in the week. And last night it was a great relief to hear the rain. I like this photograph, Ranger Diaries. Do not avoid what you fear. March into the thick of it. Respect the danger. Appreciate the pain. And enjoy the rewards. It really was a fantastic lunch yesterday that I had with Mr. and Mrs. Ban Ki-moon. And what a story he told us over lunch from the Korean War, where he said about 3 million people died. He spoke about that period, saying he was a child of the UN. Without UN support, Korea would not have advanced. Described the family scrabbling in the fields for food, and his journey to the time when he became Secretary General, 10 years there, and said, I was at a fulcrum, and he's very quiet, softly spoken, not somebody to bang his own drum. And he said that, I spoke to all the world leaders, some cases once a year, others 2, 3, 4 times. Very, very perceptive. Gina Din and Chris Karupi were also there, and it really was a privilege. Softly spoken, but has sat at the very fulcrum of world affairs. If you haven't seen the Mind Speak session, please take a look. We got the full session, comments by Bob, myself, and President Mahama. We've got his session, and then probably my favorite quote of all, which was, "Leave when the applause is the loudest." Home Thoughts, Iwaso Lions tweeted, "Impala walk in the dry riverbed this evening, but there is rain in the distance, hoping the river will flow soon." And you can see the rain in the distance in that GIF. And then voila, the rain came last night. Rumi, raise your words, not voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. Rumi. El Anatsui, Warrior 2015. The estimate is 400,000 to 600,000 pounds at Christie's. I like this photograph of Watamu, a photograph by Turtle Bay Watamu. I was listening to Bob Marley's Satisfy My Soul, which is a fabulous song. If you want to listen to it, just click on that link. And I like this photograph of a gorilla with a 24 M wide angle lens, David Yarrow. Political Reflections, AFP, Islamabad. A devotee sits on the blood-stained floor to pray the morning after a Pakistani Sufi shrine attack. I wanted to just say the horror. All hail and behold the Narcissus, I tweeted after listening to this extraordinary press conference that President Trump had yesterday. Greek mythology, Narcissus was a hunter from Thespia in Boeotia who was known for his beauty. He was the son of the river god Cephissus and nymph Leurope. He was proud in that he disdained those who loved him. Nemesis noticed this behavior and attracted Narcissus to a pool, where he saw his own reflection in the water and fell in love with it, not realizing it was merely an image. Unable to leave the beauty of his reflection, Narcissus lost his will to live. He stared at his reflection until he died. Narcissus is the origin of the term narcissism, a fixation with oneself and one's physical appearance. Go and listen to the entire press conference as I'm doing right now. Pretty extraordinary. Bibi Netanyahu tweeted, "Donald Trump, thanks very much for the warm welcome. Israel has no better friend than the United States. The United States has no better friend than Israel. Trump said, I'm looking at two states and one state, and I like the one that both parties like. I'm very happy with the one that both parties like. I can live with either one. I thought for a while it looked like the two-state might be the easier of the two. But honestly, if Israel and the Palestinians are happy, I'm happy with the one they like the best, Trump said. It's kind of throwaway moment and has a huge reverberation. But essentially, I think it is the truth. There was no two-state solution anymore, and it is a one-state solution. How that plays out is now the issue. Trump claimed his administration was a fine-tuned machine. The new Time cover illustration by Tim O'Brien speaks for itself. The leaks are real, the news is fake. It's a non sequitur. According to reports, Trump walked into the Oval Office earlier that morning and said, let's do a press conference today. That time he battled back reports of chaos in the West Wing. I turn on TV, open the newspapers, I see stories of chaos. Yet it is the exact opposite. This administration is running like a fine-tuned machine. That time he confirmed the veracity of the leaks that led to Michael Flynn's resignation. The leaks are absolutely real. The news is fake because so much of the news is fake. That time he couldn't say Flynn lied. And the thing is, he didn't tell our vice president properly. And then he said he didn't remember. That just wasn't acceptable to me. That time he characterized the rollout of his travel ban as smooth. We had a very smooth rollout of the travel ban. We had a bad cold. That time he called the country of Russia fake news. Russia's fake news. Russia, this is fake news put out by the media. The real news is the fact that people, probably from the Obama administration, because they are there, because we have our new people going in place right now. That time he denied knowledge of whether anyone from his team colluded with the Russian government during the campaign. Nobody that I know of. How many times do I have to answer this question? Russia is a ruse. I have nothing to do with Russia. I haven't made a phone call to Russia in years. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you, you're dishonest people. My conclusions are that this is not normal. Fox News is reporting Trump was fully briefed on the Flynn call with Russia after it happened and allowed Pence to be lied to. Goes back to something I wrote in December. We have a deviate tomahawk. My starting point is the election of President Donald Trump, because hindsight will surely show that Russia ran a seriously sophisticated program of interference, mostly digital. Don DeLillo, who is a prophetic 21st century writer, writes as follows in one of his short stories. The specialist is monitoring data on his mission console when a voice breaks in, a voice that carried with it a strange and unspecifiable poignancy. He checks in with his flight dynamics and conceptual paradigm officers at Colorado Command. We have a deviate tomahawk. We copy, there's a voice. We have gross oscillation here. There's some interference. I've gone redundant, but I'm not sure it's helping. We are clearing an outframe to locate source. Thank you, Colorado. It's probably just selective noise, your negative red on the step function quad. It was a voice, I told them. We have just received an affirm on selective noise. We will correct Tomahawk. In the meantime, advise you to stay redundant. The voice, in contrast to Colorado's metallic pigeon, is a melange of repartee, laughter, and song, with a quality of purest, sweetest sadness. Somehow we are picking up signals from radio programs of 40, 50, 60 years ago. I have no doubt that Putin ran a seriously 21st century, predominantly digital program of interference which amplified the Trump candidacy and damped down the Hillary Clinton's bona fides. POTUS was an ideal candidate for this kind of support. He is a linguistic warfare specialist. And I was talking about how you've got to be non-linear in your intervention, which Russia was, and you've got to be able to plausibly deny that you interfered at all. Trumpland is a wildly confusing place with officials flying blind from the moment they choose to check their briefs. 3 weeks into the Trump administration, asserts the New York Times, council staff members get up in the morning, read President Trump's Twitter posts, and struggle to make a policy to fit them. Most are kept in the dark about what Mr. Trump tells foreign leaders in his foreign calls. Steve McAuliffe, and yes, a question from the carefully selected, unrepresentative, media-fed right-wing fruitcake in the floral jumper over there. The month of Trump, Elliot Weinberger in the LRB, two things are certain about Trump. He sees the presidency primarily as a way to expand the Trump brand and make a little money on the side, and he is in way over his head. An iconic moment of the first weeks was Trump's dinner for the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, not at the White House as is customary, but at his Palm Beach club, Mar-a-Lago, where the annual membership fee is just doubled to $200,000. Interrupted by news of a North Korean missile launch, Trump chose to display his presidential power to the wild and tweeting club regulars by holding an emergency security meeting at the restaurant table. Aides used their cell phones as flashlights to read classified documents, while waiters served entrees over the papers. One member even posted a selfie, wow, with, he wrote, Rick, the guy who follows the president, with the football, the briefcase carrying the nuclear codes. Luckily, the missile landed harmlessly in the ocean before dessert. It would have been unfortunate to lose Alaska with the baked Alaska. The Saudi Arabian Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted, Adel Al-Jubair meets with the US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on the sidelines of the G20 in Bonn. Trump's White House struggles with messaging. The Hill, you could say that again. Want to make a lie seem true, say it again and again and again, says Wired. Facts don't actually matter. People repeat them so often that you believe them. Welcome to the illusory truth effect, a glitch in the human psyche that equates repetition with truth. Marketers and politicians are masters of manipulating this particular cognitive bias, which perhaps you've become more familiar with lately. The radiation level in Fukushima number 2 reactor measured 650 sieverts, which is nearly double the highest recorded instance of Chernobyl. And take a look at this photograph of a fireman awaiting new arrivals at a decontamination center in Japan a while back. Sleeping with the fishes is a headline in The Independent with a photograph of the president of North Korea. RT.com, lie land, Trump and Theresa trolled in viral UK street art. Michiko Kakutani, sci-fi author J.G. Ballard, predicts the rise of social media in 1977. And read what he said, very interesting. Let's move on to the currency markets. Euro, dollar 106.65, dollar index 100.48, Japanese yen 113.36, Swiss franc 0.9972, the pound 124.94, the Aussie 0.7708, India rupee 67.085, South Korean won 1146.27. The Brazilian real 3.0892, the Egyptian pound 1603.95, and the South African rand 13.004. Dollar index, I'll put up a 3-month chart, 99.50 remains the key pivot level. You remember we fell briefly through it, but then we came back very strongly indeed. Index touched a 1-month high of 101.76 as recently as Wednesday. Euro dollar, that's pulled back a little bit, 106.66. But I'm inclined to view that Builders is a winner in this near-term Dutch election, and that will weaken the euro considerably. Gold, let's take a look at where that is. Gold is at 12.37. Very strong start to the year. Prices have been stuck around $1 a barrel above or below $55.50 since mid December. It's been quite interesting, hasn't it, that it's flatlined now for so long. Standard Chartered analysts, including Paul Horsnell, pointed out this week that price had been stuck around $1 a barrel above or below 55.50 since December. If crude prices are to break out of their recent range in the next few weeks, the risk is to the downside, as I've said before. And on the 28th of November last year, when I said I do not see WTI trading above $60 under any circumstances. Coming to sub-Saharan Africa, the DRC says it can't afford to hold a presidential election. The government of Joseph Kabila has a new excuse for delaying the vote that would usher in a new president. Elections are expensive. Pierre Kangundia, budget minister of the DRC, has said the holding the previously agreed on poll would cost $1.8 billion, money that he doubted his government would be able to mobilize this year. At this stage, I prefer to keep a language of sincerity, he said at a press conference this week. One opponent, Moishi Katumbi, was removed from the scene entirely. That was June 2016, around there, when I wrote President Kabila outwitted Katumbi by removing him from the street in the Congo entirely, in what I could call a cleverly administered technical knockout. And I was saying about how the revolutionary contingent attains its ideal form not in the place of production, but in the street, where for a moment it stops being a cog in the technical machine and itself becomes a motor, a machine of attack, in other words, a producer of speed. Etienne Tshisekedi, who was another formidable opponent, he died on the 1st of February 2017, Congolese politician and the leader of the Union for Democracy and Social Progress. In this photograph from 1996, President Mobutu Sese Seko is seen with Etienne Tshisekedi. South African oil shares up 3.82% year to date, dollar versus rand at 13 the figure. It's been a strong 5% rally for the rand this year. Look at this, the Egyptian pound is now at 16 the figure. Remember, it was at 1950 momentarily at the beginning of the year. A very powerful rebound for the Egyptian pound. Nigerian oil share down 6.77% this year. Ghana Stock Exchange up 7.11% this year. You remember I'm bullish about Ghana. Rwanda is a very special country. Lovely photograph from David Yarrow. Atlas Samara in share placement as chief executive steps down, reports the FT. The woes of Bob Diamond's London-listed African investment vehicle, Atlas Samara, deepened after it announced the immediate departure of its chief executive and raised extra funds from an overnight placing. The company said it would appoint a replacement in due course for John Vitalo, who worked for Mr. Diamond when he ran Barclays and followed the American investment bank after he left the British bank to help set up his new African banking venture. It's not been an easy ride at all. Kenya's opposition warns of protests if elections are rigged. Raila Odinga said on Wednesday mass protests were possible if August elections were rigged, comments likely to scare Kenyans, fearful of a repeat of the widespread violence that erupted after a disrupted poll in 2007. Then more than 1,200 people were killed in weeks of fighting after political protests turned into ethnic clashes. 2013 polls, however, when Odinga accepted the result after a court ruling, passed relatively peacefully. The country is not ready for another rigged election. Kenyans will not accept it, he said, noting that multiple people have been registered to vote with the same identity card in a registration period that has just ended. The National Election Commission accepts that some of his criticisms are justified and has identified 78,000 duplicate registrations. We are confident we will have a credible and convincing register by May 10 to start verification. This is the IEBC. The government said that Odinga was simply trying to discredit the voting process early to lay the ground for challenging the results on the streets. The opposition is trying to create a narrative so eventually they have a way of rejecting the election, said the government spokesman. President Kenyatta's government has also been hit by a string of corruption scandals and a strike by doctors that has now entered its third month. This is a big mess, he said. The executive office is trying to downplay it. It is a major, major mess, talking about the IEBC. Every option is open to us, he said. The voters are being manipulated to believe that if so from another tribe is in leadership, then their lives are going to be endangered, and that they can only be secure when their man occupies the top position. Some diplomats fear that the international community, which played a major role in mediating and ending the 2007 violence, may be less engaged this time as they grapple with Brexit, a European refugee crisis, and a new American administration. The threat of prosecution at the ICC, which hung over the 2013 polls, has also receded after the case against Kenyatta collapsed following allegations of political interference and witness tampering. You could see a whole lot more violence this time around before the international community intervenes, because there are so many fires burning everywhere, said one diplomat. Kenya's dirty wars. Suspected jihadists are being killed in droves on Kenya's coast. Balbina, a woman from Mombasa, Kenya's main coastal city, remembers fetching her neighbour Abdullah's body from a police station. It wasn't so terrible, says Balbina. Surprisingly, there was not even any blood. The wound was hidden at the back of his head. His face was serene. He was killed by police in what they claimed she does not believe was a shootout. Abdullah did wrong. He went to Somalia. Maybe he killed innocent people, but he deserved justice, she says, not to be shot in the back of the head without a trial. Such stories are easy to find on the Kenyan coast, where young men are often recruited to fight for Al-Shabaab, a Somali jihadist group. Some go to fight in Somalia, some carry out terrorist attacks at home. In recent years, the government has cracked down on anyone it suspects might have joined Al-Shabaab. In December, Haki Africa, a human rights group, published the names of 81 people, almost all young Muslim men, who it says were killed or disappeared by police since 2012. The real number is probably much higher, says Francis Omer, the group's coordinator, since many cases go unreported or leave few clues, indicating its state. Coast of Kenya is long felt different from the rest of the country. Under British rule, a 10-mile littoral strip was nominally part of a protectorate administered by the Sultan of Zanzibar. Abdullah had no parents. He was lonely and jobless. That made him easy prey for recruiters who stoked his anger whilst also flashing cash and promising him a better life in Somalia. Money is a big lure, says a local official. Some jihadists even pose as recruitment agencies for jobs in the Gulf, she says. You see a man in a good car, he takes 3 or 4 guys promising jobs. Many recruits disappointed. Somalia is not the Islamic paradise they were told it was, and foreigners are used as cannon fodder. Some of the disappeared were doubtless guilty, but none had a chance to defend himself in court. Killing those who return, the police may be silencing an effective form of anti-jihadist propaganda. Police hit squads are operating in an already febrile political atmosphere. In August, Kenya will hold local and national elections. Mombasa will be among the most fiercely contested cities. A system of devolution introduced in 2013 means that its governor controls a bigger budget. Ali Hassan Joho is popular among local Muslims, whom he promises to defend from grasping ruling party politicians in Nairobi. He is close to Raila Odinga, said to be financing Mr. Odinga's Orange Democratic Movement Party. All the main parties are already recruiting youngsters into political gangs known as pressure groups. Mr. Joho's supporters could turn violent if he looks likely to lose. It would not be the first time that a Kenyan election turns bloody. Many in Kenya now fret that there may be a return to mayhem, particularly in Mombasa, where politicians are fighting for control of Kenya's lucrative main port. With well-practiced hit squads already on the prowl, the risks of conflagration are escalating. Both Nishad and I felt this vibe this week in Mombasa. Uhuru Kenyatta paid a visit to former President Daniel Arap Moi at his cabinet gardens residence in Nairobi. The government wants to spy on your calls, texts from next week. Kenya shilling firm around 103.65. Nairobi all share down 6.01% in 2017, but over 3% in February. NSE 20 down 6.74% so far this year. David Yarrow, the puzzle, it's 5 years old, but it still grabs the eye. Not my strongest picture, but perhaps the one that everyone wants for someone. Samira Solani, US Congress joint resolution on disapproval of proposed foreign military sale to government of Kenya. Just to touch on the stock market, the MSCI All Country World Index hit a record earlier this week. World equities have gained about $6 trillion since Trump's election, equal to the combined GDP of Germany and the UK. Dow Jones has been hitting fresh lifetime highs. Ghana up 7.07%, South Africa's up 3.62% and outperforming. The Rand is at a muscular start to the year at about 14-month highs. Nairobi all shares up 3.35% in February after January's swoon. Safaricom at 18.20. This is a lot about the release of the KBA switch, which has put some pressure on the share price. Nation Media rebounded 5.55%. TPS Serena upticked 2.3% yesterday. Banks under strong selling pressure in January as investors fretted about the interest rate bill. Banks remain the softest component of the NSE in 2017 and have been so since the bill was passed into law. Mumias has badly lagged a worldwide sugar futures rally, which saw raw sugar rise 10% in January, closed up 4.76%. ARM Cement was heavily traded, 10.156 million shares, has retreated 24.5% this year, but do remember CDC Africa Cement is now a material shareholder. I therefore wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you for listening to sometimes my verbose rantings. Thank you.